Hi, my name is Nihit Goyal, and in this video I will introduce an article titled Why and How Does the Regulation of Emerging Technologies Occur? Explaining the adoption of the EU General Data Protection Regulation using the Multiple Streams Framework. Co-authored by Michael Howlett, Araz Taeihagh, and myself, this article was recently published in the journal Regulation and Governance. First, let me highlight the research gap. Existing research on regulation and governance has documented the potentially disruptive effect of emerging technologies on regulatory arrangements. Although this literature provides several explanations for the phenomenon, why, how, when, and in what form the regulation of emerging technologies occurs remains unclear. We address this gap by adapting the multiple streams framework for our study. The original multiple streams framework conceived agenda setting as the result of interactions among problem, policy, and politics, conditioned by windows of opportunity and policy entrepreneurship. The framework has since been extended to the other stages of the policy process and also augmented to incorporate agency in each stream. Further, research in science and technology studies has introduced a technology stream in the framework to model the co-evolutionary relationship between policymaking and technological innovation. We build on this four-stream variant in our study. Specifically, we hypothesize that technological change can independently influence the problem stream, the policy stream, or the politics stream. For example, by adversely affecting the underlying societal conditions, enhancing the viability of specific policy alternatives, or enabling collective action. However, while the dynamic between problem and technology is modified by epistemic uncertainty and public acceptance of technology, the relationship of policy and technology is determined by the selection criteria in the policy stream. Finally, the alignment of politics and technology is conditioned by the balance of interests. We apply this theoretical framework to the case of the General Data Protection Regulation, which represents a case of regulation of emerging technologies despite significant contestation from various constituencies, including powerful technology businesses. We scanned nearly 1,000 news reports on the Nexus Uni database and 500 research articles on Scopus to collect the necessary data for this study. The activities, events, and contexts described in these sources were coded based on the principal stream of our framework and then sequenced temporally to trace the emergence of the regulation by reconstituting the process. We find that the notion of the GDPR gained traction when the lack of harmonization in data privacy regulation across the EU, caused partly by the IT revolution, was framed as the problem necessitating regulatory change. An instrument constituency of data protection authorities played the role of a policy entrepreneur in developing the GDPR in the policy stream and was instrumental in the insertion of data protection in the EU Fundamental Rights Charter and in the Treaty of Lisbon. This opened a window of opportunity in the politics stream, which was seized by the Justice and Consumer Rights Commissioner Viviane Reding to push a draft of the GDPR through the European Commission and place it on the legislative agenda. Technology constituencies promoting the use of ICTs, however, tried to decouple each stream from the technology stream to influence policy formulation and decision making. aided by uncertainty about the economic and social consequences of the regulation and high public acceptance of ICTs, they were nearly successful in altering the problem framing until the Snowden revelations turned the tide. In the policy stream, technology constituencies sought to emphasize the infeasibility of key provisions of the GDPR. But an intervention by the European Court of Justice helped soften the regulatory instrument and strengthen the perceived viability of the GDPR. Finally, the regulation witnessed substantial lobbying, but entrepreneurship of MEP Jan Albrecht helped it clear the European Parliament, and domestic interests, along with counter-mobilization by other technology constituencies, shaped the design of the regulation in the European Council, eventually leading to its adoption by the EU. Based on these findings, we conclude that, first, the multiple streams framework is useful for explaining the timing and design of technological regulation, and that it can incorporate the role of functional logics, ideas, interests, institutions, and entrepreneurship in the process. Second, the inclusion of the technology stream enhances the analytical power of the framework and provides a more nuanced account of the influence of technological innovation on policy making. And third, it is important to understand the dynamics between incumbent and emerging technology constituencies to understand policy technology coevolution. We hope you enjoy reading this article, and we look forward to your feedback on it. Thank you.